countdown to the last comic shop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it is now time for the Last Comic Shop podcast.
That's right. We are opening up the shop to newbies to help them find their way under this comic book tent and maybe get meta. There's a bit of meta this week.
That's right. And we're keeping the shop open for the oldies who enjoy the faux oldies that look like it's an oldie, but it's not really an oldie. It's a newie, but it's a meta newie who talks about being part of the oldies and how important them oldies were. So all the oldies will probably like it too.
That's true. That's true. It is a taste of nostalgia here on the Last Comic Shop this week. I'm the host with the most, Andy Larson. I'm joined by two oldie fogies that I hold very dear. That would be Jay Scott and Chad Smith, as well as a grizzled old prospector of comics. His name is Mr. Mikey Wood. So,
you dang kids, get off my lawn! Yeah. What's up?
Oh, Lordy. And if you're wondering what book we're covering this week that is sparking all of this nostalgia talk, it is a more recent entry from Abrams Comic Arts and I think Marvel Arts. I think that's what they call it. Sure. It is called The Avengers, The Veracity Trap, which is my pick for this week because I thought it was high time we got another Avengers book out there because those episodes seem to get downloaded like gangbusters. Everybody loves the Avengers, and this has got a classic team, and we'll get to that in just a second. But, of course, as our opening salvo, as we like to do on every single episode of The Last Comic Shop, we like to do games. That's right. Especially now that the Halloween season is over, and we all need to burn off some excess calories from all of that Halloween candy. So we're going to play some games, get our minds working, because that burns calories, right? That's exercise. Mental exercise.
Yeah, we got to warm up for all those family get-togethers later on this month so we can beat them in their trivial pursuits. Ooh. That pie is mine!
Right.
It is true that it is going to be trivia. It is the 4th annual Mighty Marvel Trivia Challenge. That's right. Traditionally, these have been like timed things where you have like a minute and you have to answer as many Marvel questions as you can.
Hold on, wait. I got trivia, though. You said we skipped 2023, so is it a semi-annual or kind of annual Marvel Trivia Challenge?
It's true. We did skip 2023, but this is the 4th one. So I don't know how to work that out. We had them for like 2 years. We took a year off.
Like with comic books, they would be the bi-monthly and the...
Annual-ish.
Yeah.
There you go.
Annual-like.
But Jay Scott is going to be our host for this particular segment, asking the questions to me and Chad and Mikey. So I think we're doing it a little bit different this year, right, J.A.?
Yeah, there are 10 questions, no multiple choice, just one answer for each question. We're just going to go, everyone has to answer 10 questions. That way you don't feel like you're under the gun quite so much. This is sort of more for Mikey, who's less... what should I say?
Less smart.
He's kind of a dullard.
This is more for Mikey Wood, who's less in tune with the Marvel Universe than you, Andrew, or Chad.
I'm very in tune.
Oh! Yes. And I do want to point out that we've had 3 of these thus far in previous years.
Yeah.
And Chad has won every single one of them. So I feel like he should go first. But that's up to our quiz master, J.A. He can decide who gets it.
I think Chad, as the victor, can choose to defer or go first.
Oh, I am now victor. I will choose... why not? I'll go first. Get this out of the way. I mean, I already got the last 3. I could screw up the next 4 or 5. It'll be fine. I'm already on the record books.
Yeah, phone this one in.
That's right.
Yeah, he's resting on his laurels. It's time to strike, Mikey. It's time to strike.
These laurels are comfy. My laurels are padded.
My laurels are hardy.
I've seen your laurels. They are hardy.
Shall we
Brought
start
the show to a standstill? Okay, go ahead.
That's right. The Laurel and Hardy jokes get them every time.
Here we go.
Okay.
In what year was the first Marvel comic published?
All right, now hold on. Technically, we're talking Marvel comics or Timely Comics or any of that kind of stuff? I'm going to say 1962.
No.
63.
I was looking for 39.
39.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Those weren't Marvel comics.
What is Thor's hammer made out of?
Uru.
That is correct. In what comic series did Hawkeye make his first appearance?
Iron Man. Tales of Suspense featuring
Yes.
Iron Man.
I'll give that to you. Tales of Suspense. Who is the child of Scott Summers and Madeline Pryor?
Nathan Gray. Summers. Cable.
Yes, thank you. What comic book couple was married by Stan Lee?
Reed and Sue Richards.
No.
No, I knew that wasn't it. It's okay.
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
I didn't know that though, so that's all right.
Okay. What talk show have the Avengers made a comic appearance on?
I just saw this cover the other day. It's David Letterman.
That is correct. What is the space pirate Corsair's real name?
Summers. Papa
Looking for
Summers.
a first name. Daddy Summers and Papa Summers do not count. Sorry.
Hold on. Corsair. I'm gonna say Fabio.
Christopher Summers.
Yeah, I knew that.
Who was the Iron Fist before Danny Rand?
Orson.
Our last name on this one. Sorry.
Orson, not Orson Welles. That's that story guy. Are you sure this can't be multiple choice?
Come on! Look at it.
Orson.
Last chance.
Give me a hint. What does it rhyme with?
Danny Rand.
Orson Rand.
Orson Randall.
Randall. Ah, that's not a
that's a
rhyme.
no.
You've been cheated by the Quizmaster.
What planet was Galactus born on?
I know this one.
It's 2 letters. Andy, what are letters?
Just telling you!
Tell me the letters.
No!
I'll give you a hint. It's something that's said a lot of the time in Britain.
T.
Close. Ta.
I was going to say oi.
And final question for you, Chad. What is he at, by the way? Andrew, have you been keeping track? Let's see. He got
17.
Hold on. Got late show. 1, 2, 3, 4. On a bit of a downtrail.
All right.
Following X-Men Schism and the death of Professor X, what was the school named?
The Jean Grey School for Mutants.
I'll give that to you. It's the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, but I was looking for Jean Grey, so that is correct. So you got 5.
Oh!
Technicality score. Woo!
He's an easy teacher. He's an easy. I would have not given you this Tales of Suspense because you were like Iron Man. Like, I don't even think Iron Man's in the title.
Isn't it
Just
Tales of
says
Suspense
Tales-
featuring Iron Man?
I think it's just Tales of Suspense. Period. Like there's nothing there. It's
Put
not
on
Iron
the cover blurb. It features Captain America and Iron Man.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who's up next?
Fine.
Okay.
Sure. Let's
All
get
right.
this over with.
Mikey. In the comics, what did the S in SHIELD originally stand for until it was changed in 1991?
Strategic.
That is incorrect. Supreme.
Oh,
It changed to strategic. What was
Once
Steve?
it no longer came with sour cream. Sorry.
that's
Sorry.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope. Number 2. What was Steve Rogers' rating when he tried to enlist in the army during World War II?
Oh, he was. Oh God, what do they call? What is that? It's like A4 or something. No, that's a paper size. It's
3,
shit.
2,
I can't remember.
1. 4F.
4F. 4F.
B9.
You sunk
First-
my
okay.
battleship.
Yes.
I should have known that one. That sucked.
Okay. Number 3. Who was the first Marvel superhero?
Human Torch.
That is correct. I would have also taken Namor, though
Same issue. That's
same
right.
issue. Is
From
one of,
Timely Comics.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
number 4. Kunlun is one of how many heavenly cities?
8.
That is incorrect. 7.
Okay. 7. Okay. Shit. This is
Number
hard.
5. What comic series did Kazar first appear in?
Oh, Jungle Tales, isn't it? No.
No, it was the
Oh,
X-Men.
come on.
Oh,
Was it really?
Yes.
Was it the X-Men first?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
in comics, so I'm looking for a character's name, not a writer, who came up with the name The Avengers?
That's their butler, isn't it? I thought it was the butler.
No, it was the Wasp.
Yes. Janet
Jesus,
Van Dyne.
man. Oh, my God. Ask me a Batman question.
Number 7.
Okay.
Who is Wonder Man's brother?
Oh, no, I was going to say Vision, but the Vision
I'll
might
even
be
make it a
Wonder
little bit
Man.
easier. What villain is Wonder Man's brother?
I don't know.
No,
Ultron?
It's Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper.
Oh, I thought it was
no idea.
Ultron.
This one I
is
think
terrible.
you should be able to get. Name
is-
any one of the original members of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, God, he's an astronaut guy with a helmet. Shit, man, I'm blanking out. I don't know. I know. I see it in my head.
I would have
Chad, you want to
taken.
give him one?
Starhawk?
No.
Charlie
No.
XCX?
Charlie.
Not Charlie X, that's Star Trek. Charlie 27.
Charlie 27.
Yondu, Vance
I thought it was
Astrovic.
Vance
Answer
Astrovic.
And
That's
Martin
right.
X.
Martin X was the
I
crystal
would have
guy.
gotten all of these.
Yes, Andrew's like, this is.
I just my brain just like it was there floating around, but it just
Who bought the company AIM and turned it good?
is this still me?
Yes,
oh God!
you've got 2 more.
Who bought the company AIM and turned it good? I'm going to say Tony Stark. I don't know.
No, it was Sunspot.
Okay. Okay.
And your final question, who was the first Iron Patriot?
Steve Rogers. I don't know.
Norman Osborn.
Norman Oz. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know
Okay.
any of this. Yeah, this is terrible.
Sorry, Mike.
Multiple
I
choice.
thought you had, yeah, you got one.
That's
though.
good.
You
No, I
did
mean,
get one.
it's trivia. They're supposed to
Yep.
be difficult, so that's cool.
That's true.
Okay. Andrew, you need to get 6 to win.
6. All right, I'm
6 to
I'm
win,
there.
5 to tie.
I think I could have got 6 on Mikey's
I
round.
didn't
but
get
we'll see.
I need to come up.
Oh.
I don't have a tiebreaker. So you better get 6.
All right.
What event brought Miles Morales to the 616?
The second Secret Wars.
That is
Secret
correct.
Wars, yeah, 2015. Yeah.
Yes.
Technically
Who was
the third Secret Wars, but go ahead.
I'm an easy grader.
I know.
Who was the first leader of the Masters of Evil?
Baron Zemo.
Yes. Who is Moondragon's father?
Drax the Destroyer.
Yes. What is the name of the axe Thor used before he was worthy of Mjolnir?
Oh, it's not Stormbreaker. That's it starts with a J. I can't pronounce it. It's got like the dots above the O and stuff. Jarbro. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. I can see it in my mind.
It's Jarnbjorn.
Okay. I was
Or,
right.
I don't know. Maybe I give you half a point for that. We'll come back. I'm gonna.
We'll send that out to the
it was.
judges.
Yes, that's gonna go out to the judges. Following the retcon, where do Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver come from?
Where do they come from?
Factory downtown.
Yes, after they were retconned to not be the son and daughter of Magneto.
Okay. Well, they're not in humans. The Maximoffs, like I don't know this one honestly.
The High Evolutionary.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Frank Castle served in what branch of the United States Armed Services?
He was in the army.
Nope, he was a Marine.
Ah, shucks.
Where do Inhumans get their powers from?
Terrigen mists.
That is correct. The Venom symbiote is a member of what alien race?
The symbiotes. He comes from the planet symbiote. Null's race. Like the symbiotes.
Think lady parts.
The ovaries.
The Clintar. What body part of Peter Quill's was once cybernetic?
His eyes.
That is correct, his eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5. We're still on the fence with this Mjolnir answer, so if you get this last one correct, you will have won the test.
Oh, okay.
Gladiator, Smasher, and Fang are members of what team?
That would be the Shire Imperial Guard.
That is correct.
Oh, good job.
I knew more of those than I knew of mine, so that was cool.
Yeah. I
should
knew the
flip-flop,
ones
Mikey.
you didn't know, but I didn't know a lot of the ones that you knew.
Yeah. I knew Terrigen Mist. I knew that.
Oh, the Terrigen Mists. Well, thank you, J.A. That was a lot of fun, especially since I won. Do I still get that Yarborough one?
No,
yeah, nice job.
Questions. You don't get the Yarborough one.
Glenn Yarborough?
But if you submit enough Yarborough points, you can get one of those jackets with the camel on the back.
Had you said it was named Bjorn Borg, I might have been
I knew it had the two O's or the two dots above the O. Any case, thank you so much to J.A. for being our quizmaster for the Mighty Marvel Trivia Challenge. We'll be right back with more Last Comic Shop right after this with a Marvel book that they worked on with Abrams Comics Arts. It is The Avengers, The Veracity Trap. So stay tuned for that.
Yarn Bjorn.
I would have said Stormbreaker, but that's what do you call it?
That's Battery Bills.
That's Battery Bills.
Looking to save money on your collectible supplies? Whether it's comics, cards, sports memorabilia, or miscellaneous pop culture bric-a-brac, make sure to use promo code LCSPOD to get 10% off your orders at bcwsupplies.com. Not only does it get you a discount on BCW's already low prices, but using LCSPOD at checkout is an amazing way to show support to the Last Comic Shop podcast, the most incredible comic book podcast on the airwaves. So if you are in need of collectible supplies, head out to bcwsupplies.com and use promo code LCSPOD today. That's promo code LCSPOD. Cheers!
In a world where there's often 60 plus years of history to worry about, how can you quickly get into a new comic character or franchise? If you're like me, then you turn to video games. But how well does that work out? In some cases, pretty well. In others, it's a giant disaster. But how can you know which games will set you on the right path and which games will just leave you more confused than you were before? Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So listen in and get the scoop on which games are worth your time over at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
All right, we're back with more Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for our Read Pile Review. Yes, you mighty Marvel Marching Society, we've got a Marvel book for you. And it was my pick this week, and of course, I wanted to read either The Avengers or The Fantastic Four, because those are my teams when it comes to the House of Ideas. I love that shit. And one thing that I love is when Abrams Comic Arts gets involved with doing Marvel books. I was a huge fan of our previous episode, which featured a team up between these two companies. That was Fantastic Four Full Circle. Alex Ross doing a reimagining of an issue of the Fantastic Four that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee did from the first 100. But this is a completely different idea. It may look like an old thing, but it's not. It's a new thing. It's Avengers, the Veracity Trap, and it came out recently. And who worked on this, Chad?
So the story was by Chip Kidd, but then he did the scripting with Michael Cho. And then the art and color was done by Michael Cho. Lettering was done by VC's Joe Caramagna. And you have a whole slew of editors. We'll say Tom Brevoort and C.B. Cebulski for Marvel. And on the Abrams side of things, you had Charles Kaufman and assistant editor Lydia Nguyen. Designs by Chip Kidd and Josh Johnson. And series consultant Alex Ross.
Oh, yes. Now, this is... Are there other ones, Chad? Are there other like Marvel Arts, Abrams Comic Arts team ups that I don't know about? This was like the first one that jumped out at me on my radar after the Fantastic Four Full Circle one. But I think they've done other ones, right?
So Abrams, they put out the panel by panel series. You can get a Fantastic Four one. You can get a Spider-Man one where they look at those first issues. And each panel is its own sort of Chip Kiddified page involved there. And then also Abrams does like some classy reproductions of things. Like you can get the Mighty Marvel 2026 wall calendar, which is secretly a reissue of the 1976 wall calendar.
Didn't they put out a big book of all the Blacklight posters?
Yes, they have a classic Blacklight note card set.
Yeah, and the poster book. They have 2 volumes of those. They have the classic Marvel sticker books and the value stamps. But there's more. Oh, the big one is, you know what they're going to be producing?
Oh, I don't know, but tell us.
Is the subject of a previous show, and it's going to be touched up a little bit, and I believe it will be colored, but it is John Byrne's Elsewhere.
No shit.
Yes.
Wow.
What is that?
Okay. All right. Let's take a time out before we get to the 10-cent synopsis for this Avengers stuff, because I didn't know this was a thing. So John Byrne, a couple years back, I don't know, was it around the start of COVID or something like that?
I feel like it might have ended around COVID, but it was, yeah.
He decided to pick up where his part of the X-Men series would have ended and do brand new issues. He penciled them. I don't think he obviously didn't ink them. He didn't color them or whatever, but he basically did full penciled, fully written stories about basically his version of the X-Men after he dropped off the book. So you get not only that, you get his Fantastic Four, and for the longest time, it was just available the seedier parts web because it wasn't authorized by anybody.
No, you're messing this up. You didn't have to go to the seedier parts of the web. You had to go to John Byrne's website, the Byrne Robotics, where he would post a page a day of what was officially classified as fan fiction, so he couldn't get sued.
Oh.
Now, so since then, there's been a lot of recolorings, and folks have taken the original art and inked it and colored it, and you can get them even nicer online. Maybe those are in the skeezier places. You can find that stuff, but it's awesome that they're going to finally officially put this out.
The difference between the John Byrne thingy and what's the X-Men Hidden Years?
That was actually a real book. That was released in the mid to late 90s, if not the early 2000s. And that was actually John Byrne decided to continue the story of what happened after Uncanny X-Men 66. Remember when
they were canceled?
Yeah, when they went into reprints. Until they relaunched it with the new team. So he
connected the old team to the new team.
Right.
Okay.
But it was his art, his design. But this is after his run. So this is with the Wolverine team. Like that's after Days of Future Past or whatever.
Right, with the Sauron. Is it Sauron? What's the name of that dinosaur?
Sauron, yeah.
Sauron. That's
still one of my favorite new Avengers things. Like, with your abilities, you could have cured cancer. It's like, yeah, but I like dinosaurs. Turn people into dinosaurs.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to cure cancer.
I think the plan is a couple of different volumes. And like I said, I don't think Marvel is directly involved with this because there's some bad blood there. But John Byrne is working with the Abrams folks to get this touched up and ready to go.
Well, no, I mean, Marvel's definitely involved since it's their IP.
They have to be at least in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
In a cursory way, but yeah, I think in the nuts and bolts aspect of it, like once they signed off on it, I think it's contingent on them saying, "All right, we're out." Like you do what you need to do. But the other book I wanted to bring up was The Superhero's Journey by Patrick McDonnell, which is another original graphic novel that went straight out from Abrams Comic Arts around 2023. So that one's a good one, a little bit more youth-oriented.
Very good. Well, let's get back to the Avengers and the Veracity Trap, even though now I just want to talk about X-Men Elsewhere. Regardless, we got to get a 10-cent synopsis. So what happens in this book, Mikey?
Oh, it's a wonderful love letter to classic Avengers stories, and essentially the Avengers meet their makers, at least the makers of this particular graphic novel. So it gets Chip Kidd, who is a graphic designer primarily, who has dipped his fingers before into writing comics. He did a Batman comic called Death by Design, which was and a couple of other things. But anyway, he designs a lot of hardcovers and things like that. But anyway, Chip Kidd and Michael Cho actually meet the Avengers by way of Loki's machinations, and it's really it's a joy.
Well, did J.A. Scott think it was a joy?
Yeah, I think that is the perfect adjective. It is a joy. It's a joy to read. It's fun. It's light. And it's very nostalgic. It sort of reminds you of those original Avengers comics, and not just because of the drawing is very similar and paying homage to Jack Kirby, but just the sense of what superheroes and supervillains are and what they're meant to do. You know, it's golden age. It's from a lighter time, maybe, where things were a little bit more black and white, not so complicated. And the villain has this diabolical plot that is so crazy, it makes you laugh. But at the same time, you feel like the superheroes are never really in bad danger. You just don't know how they're going to get out of the pickle that they're in.
That's right.
Well, I will say this, that the bad guy in this particular book is Loki. And again, one of the more interesting villains that Marvel has available to them, because you can basically do so much with Loki. And this is the classic horns Loki. So he's the bad guy. But I thought it was kind of neat because they touch upon, at least at one part towards the end, about the fact that Loki is the god of stories. This is actually a really interesting part of Al Ewing's Immortal Thor run right now, that he's the god of stories and not just the god of mischief or the god of lies or whatever, but he tells stories, and that in part Loki's job is to challenge Thor, to challenge, the heroes, to put them on a journey so that they can ultimately succeed and tell a good tale.
Right, and so they're not just sitting around Avengers Mansion playing Pinochle the whole time.
Right. So that's true. So he does that in this particular sense. He is telling a story, and that's how he is able to manipulate some things. I mean, I love this. I won't lie, even though it's only like 63 pages, and I read it in less than 20 minutes. I think that was my runtime for this. Oh my gosh. You got those Mighty Marvel pinup pages with the full page art, all the individual members of the Avengers. You had the classic, not only Loki look, but you had the classic monsters. Fing Fang Foom's there. That two-headed beast from, I don't even know if he's in a Marvel book. I think he was in one of the Marvel monster books that predated. In fact, a lot of those monsters are all from the Mighty Marvel monster period before Fantastic Four #1. But I could just gush probably for the next 15 minutes, but let's get to Chad. Chad, did you feel like you needed to gush on this book a little bit?
Yeah, no, it's tons of fun. And I think that Michael Cho has, taken his inspiration very clearly from folks like Jack Kirby, and even more in a modern sense, Darwin Cook, where his style is one of those timeless styles. And, Michael Cho does a lot of covers, so it's really great to see his interior work again. I feel like that's a treat that we don't get all that often. And the story itself, like you said, it was a breezy 60-some pages. That was nice because, a lot of times for the podcast, we're reading 10, 12 issues. But it was nice to just sit down, in an hour and be like, oh, that's done. Oh, I need to go back and look at some of those pictures again. Oh, man. And the Mighty Marvel Masterwork pinup pages, those are wonderful. They also bring in some of those like hyper neon colors that we saw in the Alex Ross Fantastic Four Full Circle, where it's like there are parts where, the 4-color printing process is, I don't know, going askew or whatever it is. And, people are being zapped by the Imaginator or Trader or whatever the big giant Jack Kirby machine is. All the colors go all wonky and things look like they're from like a 3D book for a second before it goes back to the more classical coloring of it. The biggest detraction will be expectation. Like, do I think this was fun and classy? Yes. Do I think this was like an experience that brings something to the table that hasn't been done before? That's where I don't know. It's getting this very artful treatment. Does it deserve it, or could it have just been a $5 special annual issue or something? That I'm not sold on.
Let's ask Mikey Wood that.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, do you think this needed to be in like this fancy hardcover, or do you think it could have just been a single issue and been one of them?
Oh, I mean, it probably could have, but at the same time, I read it digitally, and I immediately went and actually bought one from Amazon because I really, really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is, but primarily for the artwork in it and things like that. And you guys mentioned the pinups and things like that. He also did like the classic sort of cutaways, or like the diagram of the one machine like they used to do for those. So he got that 60s design element down really, really well, and it was beautiful. But yeah, I mean, it certainly could have been like a one shot or something like that. But at the same time, it's nice that it isn't, if that makes sense, because it's bigger and it's just pretty to look at, and it reads really brief, and it's very simple, but there's a lot of kind of like touching moments in there where you can tell that both of them have a love for this particular era of these characters, and that's kind of cool, because that's when I I don't like we established during that terrible quiz. I don't have much of a knowledge of Marvel stuff, but when I do think about Marvel stuff, that's what I think of. I think of that 60s kind of vibe with, Stan Lee crowding the panels and having full dialogue sessions during fight scenes because the artist just wanted to draw action and Stan wanted to write novels. So that mixture of the Marvel method but there's a certain charm to it that made Marvel what it was in the 60s. And I think this book has that charm to it. Now, would I have liked something even more meta? Because as I was reading it, I was thinking, how cool would it have been if they actually used panels from actual books at the time, and if they actually inserted themselves into an actual issue of the Avengers from 60 something or whatever.
Deadpool did that.
Yeah, like the Deadpool Spider-Man one. Like I mean, that's been done to death too, I think. But that could have been super cool. But then that would have been less of Cho's artwork, which is Cho does a lot of the covers for the DC omnibuses,
the Silver Age.
Yeah, the Silver Age things. Yeah, and they're so charming and they're so beautiful because it gets artistically, he gets what made these Avengers characters so right. And actually, Chip Kidd writes them in a way where you could tell that he has a love for these characters. So that's what impressed me. So I mean, I diverted from the question like I always do, but I'm glad that it got the format that it did. Did it necessarily need it? No, probably not. I don't think that Fantastic Four one that we did needed it either necessarily, but no, I'm glad it exists.
You had me until you said did the Fantastic Four one needed, and I think totally. I think the difference between this and the Alex Ross one was the Alex Ross one also incredibly beautiful art that really shines through the Marvel arts and Abrams arts printing, and it's one thing to read it digitally, it's totally different thing to see it in the oversized hardback edition, and I'm looking forward to getting this one as well for the art. I think the biggest difference between Fantastic Four Full Circle and this is that Full Circle just feels like a bit more of a story. There's a little bit more meat on the bone versus this. I don't want to say it was nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, but I do think that you're primarily spending that $25 for the hardback for the art, and it's almost like a book of posters versus the story itself.
Yeah, well, I wanted to touch base on the fact that this particular book brought up an interesting part of 60s Marvel books, especially early on, which we sometimes forget about, which is the fact, like, if you read the original issues of the Fantastic Four, you get to, like, issue 10, and Dr. Doom goes and visits Stan Lee and Jack Kirby at the offices of Marvel. There was this meta story that was going on in the Fantastic Four where they were actually also trying to say, like, the Fantastic Four exists. Like, we're chronicling their stories. Like, it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, these are real characters, quote unquote. We all knew they weren't, but there was
we're making the comic about.
Exactly. And I think there's a little bit of that in these Avengers. And as a result of that, you do get, to Mikey's point, a couple touching moments. My favorite moment in this is towards the end when basically the Avengers defeat Loki and they're going back to their own universe. And they say they kind of seem a little downtrodden. And I think it's Wasp that kind of mentions, she's like, how can we go back to this universe knowing that we're fictional characters, that we were created by somebody else? And Chip Kidd says, well, gosh, we were all created by somebody else. Like, we are all like somebody else's original vision or idea, from our parents or whatever. But after we're created, we run with the story from there. And I thought that was really heartfelt and added a little bit of, I hate to say, a little bit of gravitas to the proceedings of this particular book. A little bit of commentary that from the first pages I didn't expect in a book like this. So I thought this was neat, not only to the point of an homage to the 60s-esque Marvel comic books, but also incorporating some of those kind of lost ideas from those books, that these characters were both fictional and maybe something more. Shrugs.
And just to piggyback, it's all about the impact that these characters have on the kids, and it just undersells the value of comic books and the value of these stories. And like, geez Louise, I learned as much from Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby, and their comic books and their stories and their characters as I did from any, authority figure outside of my parents. Like, there is an impact that these stories have. And so, could have been an annual, but it's good.
In any case, well, we'll be back with more Last Comic Shop right after this with more of our thoughts, our final thoughts on the Avengers, the Veracity Trap, as well as recommendations, ratings, and other miscellaneous bric-a-brac. So stay tuned for that.
We're all familiar with the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Modern Age of comics, but we can't still be in the Modern Age after almost 4 decades, can we?
We don't think so. And that's why we started the Iron Age of Comics, a critical re-evaluation of comic books from about 1985 to 2000.
On this podcast, we go beyond the chromium covers and the grim and gritty cliches, and take a deep dive into one of the most vibrant but divisive periods in comics history.
That's the Iron Age of Comics, with new episodes every first and third Wednesdays of the month. And look for us on social media, where the handle is @Iron Age of Comics.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans Day honors all who have served, but do you know how it started? Originally named Armistice or Truce Day at the end of World War I in 1918, it became Veterans Day after veteran supporters pressured Congress in the 1950s to change the name. Learn more at va.gov and search Veterans Day.
All right, we're back with more of The Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for ratings, where we hope you assemble! Still one of my favorite arcade games of all time is Captain America and the Avengers game. Play the shit out of that with J.A. And with Chad.
No, you call the police. The worst translations.
See my power!
Avengers!
We've got a 1 out of 4 scale from Jay Scott. Jay, what do we got this week?
Well, 1 out of 4 Marvel Masterwork pinups.
Ooh. Which one was the best one, guys? I mean, it's tough, but if you were going to only pick one, which one's your favorite one?
Is that diagram okay? Can I use that one?
Sure. Why not?
I like that. I like that cutaway, the diagram of the machine. I thought that was super, super cool.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Captain America. Very dynamic, very Kirby-esque.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm going to go with Thor. I mean, you get the hammer coming right out of the Marvel Masterwork, writing there, just like it's flying right at you.
I was a big fan of the Hulk one. I don't know. I like it anytime anybody gives the Hulk chest hair. And I'm pretty sure that he had a lot of chest hair. A lot of machismo going on with the Hulk in that one. I was a big fan.
Well, also in that Hulk one, you got Loki there photobombing in the corner.
That's true. Okay, so yes, we got some pinups. We're going to start with Chad. Traditionally, he's not been an Avengers guy other than the new Avengers, but did he like this enough to give it a good rating?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to give this a good rating. It was fun. It tugged on the heartstrings. We were in and out super quick. And when my biggest complaint was, oh, it's too nice and fancy. Like, that's not a complaint. This is for the classy folk out there. So everything we got was really good. It was really high quality. I'm tempted to ding it slightly just because there wasn't a lot of meat on the bone, but then I worry that that's just, once again, it's my expectations, not what they gave us, right? I should judge the work on what it is. So for what it is, it's a 4. For the private machinations of Chad and what he wanted, it's like a 3.5. But I'll go 4 as my official grade because Michael Cho did a masterful job on art. The story's zippy and emotional when it needs to be emotional. And it was fun, too. Andy was mentioning this on our in-between segment here. But they get meta with the comic production process, too. And that was neat when they're talking about the deregister beam, which takes the colors from the 4-color process and moves the plates. It's neat. You're learning stuff, too. So, yeah, it's a 4.
I'm going to go next, and I can't agree more with the 4 rating for this. This took me back to, again, other than The Amazing Spider-Man, one of the Marvel books that got me interested in comics to begin with, which is like the first 10 issues of the Avengers. I had a Marvel Masterworks of the first 10 issues of the Avengers, read it so many times, still read it to this day. I read it almost like every year because that is like not only my favorite team of the Avengers, it encapsulates a really special time when you had a lot of neat characters that just seemed to like being with each other. Even in this one, you get the Hulk, and if you read the original Avengers, from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, he was always like the one that really didn't want to be around, and they'd have to coerce him into coming back to fight like the Lava Men. Here, he's an integral part of the team. He's joking with everybody. He's a really important guy. And that's just nice. It fills me with warm fuzzies. You get a classic villain in Loki. You get those classic monsters. Every time I would turn another page, I wondered which monster I was going to get next. And then I would go back and I'm like, oh, that's Son of Gloom or Gold. And I loved it. I really did. It was something special. And then by the end, with the emotional touches that Chip Kidd puts in with some of the dialogue, the fact that like they go into the Avengers universe, and when they do, they turn into kids. Nice touch. Because that's really what this is about. This is about them reconnecting with a special time and some special comic books in their life. And so to see their gleam in their eye when they're talking about these books and what they loved, yeah, it tugged at my heartstrings. I wish that for 4 or 5 more books like this. Give me at least a couple more books with this great Silver Age art. I don't have Darwin Cook anymore, so give me this. Like this is wonderful. This is what I need. This perks me up in a dark universe. So 4 pinups for sure. J.A.
I don't know if it's a 4. I want to give it a 4, but at the same time, I worry that it's just not enough meat on the bone to rate a 4. And then I was thinking about it, was like, could they have made it denser? I think it's structured in a way that's like a Silver Age comic book, but told in a way that's like a modern comic book. And this weekend I just spent catching up on Birds of Prey. And man, 21 pages on the decompressed storytelling just goes so fast. And this is decompressed storytelling, but shaped to look like a Silver Age comic book. But when you read a Silver Age comic book, it was 20 to 30 pages of dense material. There would be like 2 or 3 complete story arcs within those pages. You don't get that here. You get a lot of empty panels, not a lot of dialogue. But then I think maybe that's the point. It's meant to bridge sort of modern with that nostalgia look. Obviously, the art is incredible, and the art harkens back to the Silver Age, but the writing is also very modern, while playing with those Silver Age tropes. One thing that you mentioned about them becoming kids, then they were struggling to finish the story, and they needed the heroes to help them sort of get their confidence back and get their love of comics back to be able to finish the story. So I did like that interplay. And the more I talk about it, I guess I'm sort of convincing myself that it is a 4. So I'm going to give it a 4. And like Mikey, I did go on the Amazon then and see if I could buy it, if I got free shipping to the Philippines for it. It'll go on my bookshelf next to my Alex Ross Fantastic Four Full Circle book. I'm assuming that they're the same size. They better be. That's just a publishing thing. I hate when publishers come out with books that don't look good together on the shelf. Marvel Omnibus.
All right, Mikey, finish us out. You going to make it unanimous?
1. This was garbage. No, no, of course. Yeah, no, of course. This is a nice, lovely, comfy 4 of a book. Yeah, it could have been denser. Yeah, there could have been more to it, but it's a love letter. You know, it's a 60-something page love letter to comics in general, because they do, you know, with Chip Kidd being a designer person, they do go into the old school process anyway of, you know, making comics and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely a 4, and I did buy it. I do have that Fantastic Four book, which I'm not, for me, design wise. When I mentioned the Fantastic Four, that it didn't need to be a hardcover, I would have thought that would have been cool if they did it like a retro Marvel graphic novel style, you know, soft cover with the old logos and stuff like that. But that's just me liking that nostalgia thing. So yeah, no, I mean this is a part. I'd love to see another one of these. I'd love to see them do a Spider-Man thing. It makes me, as somebody who isn't really a Marvel guy, be a Marvel guy for 60-something pages, which is really cool, you know. I really appreciated it as a reader. So,
well, here are some other books that we hope that you appreciate. That is our recommendations. Yes, this is the time of every single show where we give you other books in addition to Avengers, the Veracity Trap, which we hope that you pick up at your local comic book shop today. I agree with Mikey that I want to see more of these. And I'm hoping that we get more of these more often. Again, I'm very, very excited about this X-Men Elseworlds. I will be buying that first thing. It will be on this show as a future episode, guaranteed once it's released. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. But let's start with Chad. Chad, what you got for us this week?
Okay, so I have been a Chip Kidd fan way longer than even when he's been involved with comic books. I picked up his first novel back in the 2001 called The Cheese Monkeys, and just loved it. So like Chip Kidd was a name that like I would notice on things. When he was tapped to be the logo designer for the New 52, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I saw his Justice League logo. I'm like, I don't know if I like it. But still, I knew that was Chip Kidd. And so like, but you would see him all the time pop up on some different collections, like the Bat Manga collection that I bought earlier this year is a, you know, Chip Kidd designed aesthetic to it. And like, you can tell a Chip Kidd designed book. It's almost like a physical thing you could touch. Like you can put your finger on it and know. Just like in the old days when we were kids and like comic artists look different and you could be like, no, that's Todd McFarlane drew that. No, that's a Jim Lee guy. Like that's, you can point and see a Chip Kidd thing. So anywho, so I was super excited when I saw coming from a local library sale, but it was Batman Death by Design by Chip Kidd and Dave Taylor. It's a Batman story. It's told all in one, although this one does run a little bit longer. It's a little over 100 pages story-wise, but it's all about the architecture of Gotham. And Dave Taylor has this pencil-y style that he works in, and it's set in like classic Gotham, but it's all black and white with, you know, little splashes of color here and there. But it's about how Bruce Wayne's family had contracted out the Gotham train station to be built, and this architect had all these wonderful ideas, but then he ran afoul of the union boss, who's like, nope, not doing that. Oh, we're going to have to order this part that we know is going to break so we can rebuild it again in a few years. And then fast forward and the Joker gets involved, and of course there's a beautiful dame involved and all that other fun stuff. But it's a great little throwback story that, like the Veracity Trap, is done in one, but it has the meat on the bone, I guess, that I was looking for. But still something that you could sit down and read in one sitting and thoroughly enjoy. And the art in here is something to behold. It's something different than you get out of your normal comic books. So it is Chip Kidd and Dave Taylor's Batman Death by Design. Definitely worth checking out.
All right, let's get to Mikey Wood next. Mikey, what do you got for us?
Well, real quick, just for something that about Chad's book, Dave Taylor, the artist who usually was working on 200 AD kind of stuff and things like that, and I think he just passed away in this past August. So August 23rd. Yeah, he was 61. So
R.I.P.
But it's really, really interesting artwork for him. But that was actually we talked in a break that was going to be my two choices that I had. So since Chad chose that one, I'm going to choose the 2014 4-issue Airboy miniseries from Image Comics, written by James Robinson with art by Greg Hinkle. It is a lot like the book we talked about today, where the creators actually meet the creation, but with way more drugs and orgies. So yeah. So James Robinson and Greg Hinkle are together for a weekend of debauchery, trying to figure out how it is that they would approach an Airboy story because they've been hired to do so. And in the midst of their rollicking adventure with illegal substances and other things, Airboy comes to life, and he's this wonderfully innocent throwback sort of character that gets utterly corrupted in a matter of 4 issues, but then it loops back again at the end and things. But it's hilarious. It was 2014, so in the interim, there are a couple of things in there that have since been sort of glad didn't like some of what they had to do. That, it's one of those things that you get when you read it, it's kind of up to you to decide, but it's hilarious. And it's actually a really well drawn comic with like minimal color and things like that, but it's
definitely of its period, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you're like, this was a couple years ago. We've grown as folks. So
that's right.
Hopefully. Right. But my recommendation this week actually is another Marvel superhero. As I mentioned before, I really love the Avengers. I really love the Fantastic Four. And one of my favorite members of the Fantastic Four is the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing. And we recently got a single issue, which was the bee's knees for me. That is Marvel All-in-One, Thing versus the Marvel Universe. This was done by Ryan North with art by Ed McGuinness. And it tells the story of the Thing, who's having a case of the Mondays. He's a little bit down. He seems a little bit stressed out, like all he ever does is go and have to fight one cosmic threat and then another cosmic threat. And on his way back to the Baxter Building, all of a sudden, the Fantastic Four attacks him and says, "We've got to kill you, Thing, but we aren't going to tell you why." And he eventually finds out that they're robots. And then he eventually finds out that all the Marvel Universe is after him too. Spider-Man and the Avengers, and they're all robots, and they want to kill him. And he's like, oh boy, you just opened up a whole can of it's clobbering time. And so you've got the Thing going up against all of the Marvel Universe in classic style. And it all ends with Jean Grey throwing a moon at him, and then an ending which I'm not going to give away. So that's all I'm spoiling with this. But it's a charming ending for sure. I really, really hope that you pick it up. It really gets to the heart of why you should love the Thing. He's a bruiser, he's a brawler, but at the end of the day, he's somebody that you root for, and especially when his back is against the wall. Boy, howdy, that's a thing that I can get behind. So make sure that you're checking out Marvel All-in-One, The Thing versus the Marvel Universe. It is also a breezy story that will definitely make you smile.
So, beautiful Ed McGuinness art in that one. Beautiful. Yeah. And released as a one-shot, Chip Kidd and Michael Cho. Just a nice little $6 magazine, or maybe it was $9. I don't know.
Any case, let's grow with our final recommendation this week, and that comes from J.A. Scott. J.A.?
I am recommending a classic Avengers tale. This you can get on Comixology Unlimited for free if you have a Comixology Unlimited account. They brought it out a couple years ago as a facsimile edition. I'm hoping they re-release it again because I believe that was a Comic-Con exclusive. So even though it's just a facsimile, it's still quite expensive on the secondary market. And that is Avengers number 4, The Return of Captain America to the Avengers, when the Avengers really became let's be honest, the Avengers. You can also pick it up in the beautiful Penguins Classic Edition and omnibuses and various other, but that issue, it captures Stan Lee and Jack Kirby at their Silver Age best. Captain America is frozen in the ice and being worshipped by a group of Eskimos, and Submariner shows up and is angered by this, so he chucks Captain America off the ice into the ocean, where he floats and melts and is recovered by the Avengers, fights them in their equivalent of the Danger Room, and turns out that he can whoop them all because he's Captain America. And then they are all turned to rock by this alien that has celery hair for a head and looks like Medusa. And he turned them all to rock because he was helping out the Submariner because his spaceship's stuck at the bottom of the ocean. Captain America says, well, unrock them and I will help you get your spaceship up, which they do, and then they fight the Submariner. So it is just classic storytelling from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby with some incredible, really beautiful Jack Kirby art. And again, you can find it in multiple places, either in the Penguins Classic Edition, in Comixology. If you can find and you can afford the original issue, go for it. It's just a great story and really captures what made the Silver Age so special, which I think we delved into in our Read Pile review.
No, it's one of my favorites, even with the strange spaghetti-haired Medusa alien with the stone thing. I don't know. It's neat that they bring Captain America out of the ice and then they immediately freeze all the other Avengers to give him a story. It's kind of like, tit for tat, I guess. And Kenny, we hope that you take tit for tat with our episodes of The Last Comic Shop going forward. You can do that by going out to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com. You can make sure that you're listening to this episode or that episode. All of our episodes are evergreen, and we've got more than 250 of them. We're actually now closing in on 300. By this time next year, we'll be well on our way to 300 episodes, which are all evergreen and available to you. Lots of which feature our wonderful friend Mikey Wood. I think we're going to be putting together a Mikey Wood mega pack of some of our favorite episodes of Mikey Wood.
Oh, good God.
And so you can listen to 7 hours of Mikey.
7 hours of Marvel and Mikey. Mikey and Marvel. The marvelous Mikey masters Marvel.
Nobody wants that.
Come get lost in the woods with us and Mikey Wood and our
Nobody wants that at all.
7-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. While we might be the Last Comic Shop podcast, we don't want to be the last comic shop. So we encourage everybody to get out there and find a shop near you where you could potentially purchase things like the Avengers, the Veracity Trap. Although that one might also be in your booksellers as well. Those reputable booksellers. Anyway, you could also look for things like Batman Death by Design and other Chip Kid work, or Marvel All-in-One Thing versus the Marvel Universe, or Airboy at Image Comics from James Robinson and Company, or dig into the classics and find a copy of Avengers number 4, however you can do it. Facsimile, original, omnibus, Tation, Marvel Masterwork, Penguin Classic. It's had so many printings because it deserves it. It's a great issue and worth your time. But all that and more waits for you at your local comic shop. And then you can always come back to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com to find links to our social media accounts, links to previous episodes, and links to our merch store, which is featuring what this week, J.A.?
Well, we always feature T-shirts, coffee mugs, tote bags, baseball caps with various Last Comic Shop logos and designs. This week, it's a special on trash newsprint. That's right.
Ooh.
Buy a T-shirt made out of trash newsprint. Wear it once, and that's about it. But
hope it doesn't rain.
Classic feel.
Hey, weren't there like shirts and stuff that used to be made of like tissue paper? It was like in the 60s. They made clothes out of like tissue paper, and it was called disposable clothing. I'm serious. It was a thing.
The camel jacket that you could order with the cigarette points was like a little paper fabric material.
I hope it wasn't flammable paper.
It's Tyvek. It was like this weird sort of like paper with fiber running through it. It's what they used to wrap houses with when they're building them. Tyvek house wrap. Yeah. Yeah, it's a waterproofish, weatherproofish kind of material. Yeah.
Well, one thing that we hope is always weatherproof and waterproof are some of your comics, where at least as close as you can get. And you can make sure that they are by getting a lot of comic book supplies from bcwsupplies.com. And Mikey, isn't there a sweet promo code you can use to save yourself some cash?
Funny you should mention that, because there is. The code that you can use to get yourself a chunk of money taken off of your BCW Supplies order is LCS Pod. So L for last, C for comic, S for shop, pod for podcast. LCS Pod. Get a discount. Wrap your comics for pleasure and safety.
You'll still be able to feel them. It's fine. Be safe, kids.
That's right.
Put them in plastic. Put them in a board. Put them in a box. And they've also got card stuff as well as sporting goods. You know, again, it's still football season. You know, if you've got football memorabilia and you want to protect some of that stuff, make sure that you're getting out to bcwsupplies.com. If you're looking forward to Christmas and gifts for folks, protect those gifts by getting a fancy case or binder or something for those collectibles that all of your loved ones enjoy.
Yeah.
And we hope that you enjoy coming back to the Last Comic Shop next week. It's Solar Man of the Atom, the first 10 issues. Ethan will be back for that. But until then, I was the host with the most, Andy Larson. I was joined by Jay Scott, Chad Smith, and the wonderful Mikey Wood. And we hope that you stay safe, stay marvelous. You look marvelous, baby. Mwah! You look marvelous. Simply fantastic. Simply spectacular. Simply amazing. Simply
the best. All the rest. Yeah.
That's how we do.
Comic Shop Podcast was a 2025 Black Angus production.